Hello, this is Ju, and many of you know what these are. These are tripods. These are three different kinds of tripods, and many of you use these for photography, and even if you have your camcorder to kind of set them up and stabilize your image. But many of you are confused about exactly how to put your camera on these things. There's many different brands, and I'm going to show you really quickly these three brands and show you the different ways to mount a camera. Okay, let's get started. This is the oldest one I have, and this kind of has the traditional, just the screw type right here. You don't have any kind of plate that gets removed or any locking lever. You just have this screw thing. Now this thing, you would think it's pretty easy. You just find the bottom of your camera, you find where the screw hole is, just like that, and you just screw it in. But it's a little more tricky than that. Now I've zoomed in a little bit so you can see kind of what's happening here. Now there's actually a little bit of a screw nut right here as well. So you got this bottom one right here and then this secondary one. And you can see there's a little gap in the threads. So you see some some threads up here. And then if you look closely, there's threads right down here, but then there's like a gap. And so this thing can kind of move up and down a little bit. Okay, to show you how this works, so I'm just going to kind of adjust this this little locking screw here, kind of a little bit part way. I'm going to allow it to have like a free play, just like that. And then I'm going to take my camcorder here, and then I'm going to kind of set it right where the screw is, kind of lift up a little bit, and then with it kind of loose like this, I'm just going to screw in this bottom part a little bit like that. See how it still has some free play, but I'm able to kind of tighten up the screw. And then when it's in like that and just kind of sitting like that, then I'm going to tighten up this bottom part. Now sometimes it could be you need a little practice how to do this and get the camera nice and tight. But that's kind of how it happens. You first screw in this bottom one, and then you lock it with this upper larger one. And so when you're ready to take the camera off, you would loosen this little locking nut here, kind of loosen and then unscrew the bottom one like that until it's completely loose. So it's a little tricky, you need a little practice, but it's kind of a combination of first screwing in the camera with this bottom one and then locking it tight with this upper one. So here we have more of a newer style tripod. This one actually has a nice little handy handle. You could just depress and rotate it and it locks. But we're interested in this upper portion. You see the screw here, but you don't really see any tightening nut at the bottom. But what happens here is you actually have a separate plate that when you pull this lever back like that, the plate itself comes off. And when you look on the bottom, you actually see that tightening screw. And so you're actually attaching your camera or camcorder to this plate first. Okay, so I have a pretty nice camera here, camcorder, and you can kind of see, unlike the last one, you actually have this secondary button right here. And this is actually, it's a little flexible, it kind of depresses. And this is just to help keep the camera or camcorder more secure. Many of the modern cameras have two holes, one with a screw that screws into this right here, and then another one which is kind of stabilizing. So when you get it in there, this little button kind of fits in here and helps stabilize the camera a little bit more, even though it has some rubber here. It just helps. And you don't need to have that hole because this depresses down, if you see right here. And so you could actually just kind of push it in here and you don't even need it to fit in any hole. So, and the way you put it in, again, you just kind of match these two holes, then take the screw and just kind of screw it in just like that until it's nice and tight. Like that. And then you put this little flap down. And so to put it actually on the tripod, you have your little mounting platform here, and you can see with this open, you can just kind of fit it right in place just like that, and this locks. When this is depressed, it locks, and you're good to go, and you could just kind of rotate your camera as you want. And to remove it, you just take the lever and pull it back again, and then carefully holding your camera, remove it like that. And now a little warning to you. Now if you've ever been to some Goodwills lately looking for tripods, be careful buying these kind, because most of the ones at Goodwill don't come with a mounting plate, and this is perhaps one of the most lost items of modern day tripods, this little mounting plate. So if you are at Goodwill, you want to buy a used tripod, you got to try to find one with this mounting plate. Sometimes they're hard to replace, and don't buy these things unless it comes with the plate. So you might be able to get some replacements if you lost yours, but that's a different video. But so that's how it's done, and to remove it I just unscrewed the little tab and it's removed. And when you go ahead and store your tripod away, make sure that you put your mounting plate back on and secure it so you won't lose it for next time. Okay, so this tripod is very similar to the last one. It has a mounting plate. It doesn't have that kind of secondary little support button, but that's fine. It has a little cork platform here that helps it not slide, and you just screw this in. It has a little screw tab on the bottom, just like the other one. Again, with this one, you would just pull this little lever back, and this plate, this little thing kind of hangs out, so sometimes gets in the way, but you just make sure that you carefully maneuver it, put it in, and then lock it tight, and then it's nice and secured just like that. And when you're ready to remove it, you just pull back and release. And there you go. I hope this video helped you out, and good luck with your photography. Bye-bye.